So if we look at it, right, when it comes to design as a whole, UI design is actually important. The Facebook you use, Twitter, any other platforms you actually use are all part of like what we do as UX or UI designers or product designers. So we have different names. Nevertheless, I think is it working? Thank you, stuff. So basically, as I say, you need to kind of like understand that design actually is something that goes beyond visuals, right? And as a designer, you need to also know how to actually collaborate with other designers as a whole. So our talk agenda today will focus on just three key points, which is like a background in bridging the point between design and code. I think we have a lot of developers actually in the house, and that's why I think we created a new design kind of like conference in Kano, which is the first of its kind in northern Nigeria. As a whole, we call it Friends of Figma Kano, which I'm the lead. So that it won't just be a designer conference alone. Sorry, I mean a developer conference alone or festival, but also with designers. So we're going to look at AI tools that will transform our workflow, and also what are the benefits of generative UI design for designers as a whole. So the question now becomes, we will need to have like a question session, which is, will AI replace developers? Those in favor say yeah. And those against should say nah. You said? Yeah. The night deserves it. So if I look at this as a whole, AI will not actually replace developers, but AI will replace developers who do not use AI. That is the truth, right? So we need to understand this in such a way that responsible use of AI will actually help our workflow, because you have more time to focus on the more technical stuff, or the thinking behind what you're designing as a whole. So another question would be, should designers learn how to code? Do we have designers in the house, please? Product designers, UI UX designers, whatever designer you are, good. So should designers learn how to code? That's the question. Those in favor say yes. So the question for this is just in between, right? Designers actually don't need to learn how to code, but they need to understand how code works. Because you cannot design a platform actually that doesn't scale or doesn't work and give it to a developer or to your team and expect it to actually work. It's just having an architect who doesn't know the constraint of designing a building and he end up giving it to a civil engineer. That would be a flop. So let's just look at this. Design is not what it actually looks like, just by Steve Jobs, is how it works. So that's why as a designer, you should put it at the back of your mind that what you're doing is all about, making sure that design actually works, not just how it looks. So this is our traditional workflow. What we do normally, I think before 2022, before the rampant use of AI, was design, give it to developers, or do design review with your team. You produce that. So it's more of like a waterfall method, whereby from design to development, from development to beta testing, then to the market, right? So that's how we go. But for now, I think AI actually kind of like simplify the way we hands up our design, and also put up all the inconsistency we have when you're designing, which we'll see. So that's what brings us to the new era of design. So that's why, as a designer, it's important you understand code, and also if you have the chance, start coding. So the new era of design is all about making sure that we have a bridge between design and engineering, because that's where we normally have the problem, right? So if design cannot be implemented, then that product cannot scale. So that's why now we have professions like design engineer, product engineer, interaction engineers, and companies out there are actually looking for those people. Like, it's a massive, should I call it, compensation out there for design engineers. And I think luckily for me, I started as a front-end developer before I got into design. But for now, I have to come back and play the game of a design engineer as a whole. So we have some tools you can actually use to do that. The first tool is Figma, which is a well-known design tool for either screen design, which is mostly UI design, or for UX design, which is mostly designing personas, user journey and stuff. Then we have V0 for developers in the house. You could actually feed by just saying, "Hey, design an e-commerce app for me on V0," and it will just give you all the code and stuff like that. So I think we're going to see how that kind of like play out as a whole. So this is the typical flow of what the new AI flow looks like, because the traditional flow will shift a paradigm from the traditional down to the AI flow. So you brainstorm, you design, you prototype, and you code, right? So that means those tools can actually help you to, go as fast as possible, not for production sake, but for what? Brainstorming sake, so that you could have your ideas out there in the world. So we have Creti, Cloud AI. You could use Figma for your design. If you want to prototype as fast as possible, you want to use tools like V0, coupled with Figma AI. They just released a new Figma, a new AI feature, which could actually help you to kind of like, enhance your design process. Then we have code, which we have like Cloud AI and V0 as a whole. Which is to design like an healthcare kind of like app that takes all the record of people that have diphtheria in Kano, because there was